Hi folks, and welcome to May 14th, 2021. This is Cord Cutting Weekly, the show where we wrap up the past week in cord cutting and streaming news. And this week we learned more about Roku's plans for all that Quibi content, new sports streaming deals for Prime Video, another big budget film headed to Disney Plus's Premiere Access, and more. But first, of course, if you haven't gotten around to it just yet, please do think about clicking those like and subscribe buttons down below. We'd certainly appreciate the support, and you'd be joining an awesome group of folks. And with all that being said, let's head straight into the news, starting with Roku and its Roku Originals. This week we learned more about Roku's plans to showcase all that content it picked up shortly after streaming service Quibi shut down. And it turns out we won't have to wait too much longer, as the company announced that the first offerings will be made available to stream for free starting on Thursday, May 20th. In all, some 30 of those original programs are set to premiere on the Roku channel on that day, including shows like Reno 911, Punk'd, The Fugitive, and documentaries like Big Red Wolf. And yes, you can find that new content on the company's in-house streaming platform, the Roku channel. Those 30 titles are just the first batch of 75 or so that Roku acquired following the short-lived Quibi's demise. And those include offerings that didn't get a chance to actually appear on Quibi before it shut down. And we have a full list of Roku original titles slated to appear on the Roku channel on May 20th, and you can find that list linked down below in the video description. And speaking of the Roku channel, the platform also added more than 24 channels this week. Highlights include a channel dedicated to America's Test Kitchen, as well as Cinevault 70s and Cinevault 80s, which focus on films from, yes, the 1970s and 1980s respectively. There's also a brand new channel from Rotten Tomatoes, the well-known movie and TV review aggregator. And for true crime fans, there's a law and crime channel featuring daily trial coverage and more. And all the new additions bring the Roku channel's full lineup to over 190 channels, and if you want to check it out, just fire up your Roku device or the Roku channel app to see what's on. And while we're on the subject, that new Rotten Tomatoes channel is also coming to Peacock and Xumo in the near future. As for what kind of content you can expect, we're told the new channel will feature movie and TV news, new trailers, reviews of classic and upcoming movies, and more. Also, while we're on the topic of Roku, just a reminder that we gave the full review treatment to the company's latest streaming device, the Roku Express 4K Plus. And if you haven't checked that one out by now, and if you're curious how the company's latest budget-minded streaming device compares to its $40-ish competition, I'd highly recommend taking a look. And we'll have a link to that video included down below in the video description. In Prime Video news, Amazon's streaming service has secured a multi-year deal with the WNBA that'll see the service stream live games every week during the regular season. Those streams start on Saturday, May 29th with a matchup between the Atlanta Dream and the New York Liberty. The deal also includes coverage of the new Commissioner's Cup, which is an in-season competition that includes a portion of each team's regular season records and then culminates in a championship game that Prime Video will stream on August 12th. If you're curious about the streaming schedule for the upcoming season, you can check out our post linked down below in the video description, and you can expect 16 weekly live streams on Prime Video during the 2021 season. And again, that all tips off on May 29th at 2 p.m. Eastern. And over on HBO Max this week, we learned that the often delayed Friends reunion special has finally wrapped up shooting. The unscripted reunion was scheduled to shoot early last year. In fact, we first heard about the special well before HBO Max itself actually launched. However, production was pushed back several times due to the ongoing pandemic. Here in May of 2021, it looks like everyone involved was finally able to get together. And while star Courtney Cox promised some, quote, special surprises, unquote, in an interview with Ellen DeGeneres, we don't have too many details to share just yet. In fact, we're still waiting to hear an official release date, but we'll update you once we learn more. In any case, it looks like Friends fans will have something to look forward to in the near future. Meanwhile, over at Apple TV Plus, we've got a new report that estimates Apple's own streaming service might be more popular than we first thought. Ampere Analysis estimated that the service ended 2019 with around 34 million users, and a new Statista estimate puts that number at around 40 million by the close of 2020. Now, there's an important caveat here. Apple, unlike several streaming services, doesn't actually share its subscriber data, so we're dealing with estimates when we're talking about user counts here. So there's always the question of how various groups have arrived at the numbers they've stated. With all of that being said, 40 million might come as a surprise to some who might have expected Apple TV Plus to be more of a niche service with a smaller user base. That said, Apple has been aggressive with its free trial offers, and Moffett Nathan, for one, estimates that around 62% of users are still on their free trial period. Those trials have been extended a few times. Most recently, Apple has said any offers set to expire between now and June will now be extended into July. And now that July is closer than you might think, it'll be interesting to see how many people stick around and opt to start paying $4.99 per month for the service. Of course, we'll keep an eye on things. In the meantime, if anyone out there is currently checking out Apple TV Plus via a free trial, let us know what you think of the service so far. And do you think you'll stick around once your trial is up? Sound off in the comment section down below. And we've got other subscriber numbers to talk about. This week, fuboTV shared its first quarter financial results and announced that around 43,000 new subscribers signed up for the live TV streaming service. Now that brings the total user base to more than 590,000, which the company says represents a 105% increase year over year. Revenue also jumped to $119.7 million, which itself was a 135% increase, again year over year. The streaming service continues to focus on sports programming, including recent investments in sports betting and wagering. Whether that strategy ends up paying off in the long run remains TBD, but company execs seem enthused by fuboTV's current growth. In any case, we'll of course keep a watchful eye on the streaming service's evolution. Speaking of sports programming, Hulu will soon offer a lengthy 9-part documentary series on the Los Angeles Lakers. There's no exact premiere date or even an official title just yet, but Lakers CEO and controlling owner Jeannie Buss is on board, as is director Antoine Fuqua. Instead of recent sports documentary hits like The Last Dance, which focused on a single historic season, the upcoming docuseries will cover some 4 decades of Lakers history. So it's probably safe to expect mentions of several past and present Lakers stars like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and a lot more. Again, there's still a lot we don't know about the series at this point, but it is slated to debut on Hulu sometime in 2022, and we'll definitely keep you posted as we learn more. In the meantime, are there any Lakers fans out there looking forward to reliving some of the franchise's biggest moments? Let us know in the comment section down below. In Disney Plus news this week, we learned that the Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt adventure Jungle Cruise will be hitting theaters as well as Disney Plus via Premier Access on the same day. The film was supposed to premiere last year, but like a number of high-profile movies, plans changed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the film, which is based on a Disney theme park ride, is set to come out on July 30th, again both in theaters and on Disney Plus. The move follows earlier announcements that films like Cruella and Black Widow would also make same-day appearances on the streaming service through Premier Access. And as a reminder, Premier Access films cost $29.99 and they're only available to active Disney Plus subscribers. Cruella is set to premiere on May 28th, followed by Black Widow on July 9th. And again, there's Jungle Cruise, which will arrive on July 20th. And if you've leveraged Disney Plus's Premier Access option in the past, feel free to let us know what you thought of the experience in the comment section. And so there you go, those were some of the top headlines in cord cutting and streaming from the past week. And as always, thank you all for tuning in. If you'd like to learn more about any of the stories we talked about in this week's episode, be sure to check out the video description down below where you'll find links to our news website, cordcuttersnews.com. And yeah, we certainly wouldn't mind it if you clicked on the subscribe button while you were here. On Wednesdays, Jess hosts a live Q&A session, and then on Thursdays we dive deep into specific topics like this week's hardware review of the Roku Express 4K Plus, which, yes, came out a little earlier than usual. And then there's Cord Cutting Weekly every Friday, where you can catch up on all the latest streaming news. And until next time, thank you all once again for watching. My name is Philip Palermo. We'll see you all next week. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. Take care.